Hello everyone, the Honest Collector, back with another video here to give you the truth on the Hasbro Marvel Legends BoneBreaker Wave Build-A-Figure Wolverine from, of course, the BoneBreaker Wave. This is an odd one. I don't have a Wolverine in my collection, so I decided to just get this one since the X-Men 97 one got sold out. This was kind of like my next best bet, and yeah, I mean, am I satisfied with it? I'll definitely get onto that later throughout the review, but just taking a look at the packaging here, this is of course when Wolverine gets the heat claws. All of that healing factor built up gave him basically these huge heat claws that had like shoot out fire and whatever, and nobody liked it, so I believe they took it out like immediately, and it was just kind of like we don't talk about that. But on the back, there is a bio, so if you want to read that, you're more than welcome to pause the video and read that now. We have a sick shot of Wolverine with these heat claws because they do look really cool, and even on the figure. So yeah, like, the idea is cool, but I guess, like, you know, it's not a permanent thing. Yeah, the same shot here on the side. You have a spot varnish logo of the X-Men logo, and then you have X-Men, Wolverine, and that's it. There's nothing this guy really came with. I don't have the clam tray for it, but it's like, I'll get onto it later. But the guy, the packaging was pretty light, I'll tell you that much. So usually I would say let's go over the accessories first, but the problem is with this figure is he doesn't come with any. The only accessory he comes with is this extra head sculpt with the unmasked Logan face. Oh, I just dropped that. And it's like, it's cool, but like they're completely inverse, like the expressions. If anything, he should have a huge screaming head on the masked one and a calm face on the unmasked one. I don't know why they messed that up, but I mean, it looks really good, and I guess you can find another one, but like, it's so weird. They also decided to paint the lips on this one like a regular color, but then on this one they didn't, and like, it looks really weird in person, and I don't like that at all. So this is a $25 to $30 figure, and the only accessory we get is an extra head, and they kind of still failed at that because the expression is not very great. So let's just look at the look of the figure overall. It is really nice. This is of course reuse of some of the other Wolverine figures, but overall I do like it. Like, I do like the way this looks. I'm very pleased with it. It is something that I would like to have on the shelf. These heat claws look freaking sick. You have the red fading into that clear part there, which I think looks really cool. You have the black shoulder pads, which I don't mind, actually, and I think the design is really good. The paint is pretty good for overall, for the most part, except right there. You have some splotching right there, and it is pretty fuzzy on here, which I expected better because, you know, it's just painted. There's like no sculpt work on any of this, so like, I wish it did look good, but everything else looks fine. There's no paint on the arm hair, which is really dumb because now it just looks really weird, and I don't know why they keep doing that with Wolverine figures. These do have the pins, and these joints are a little gummy and kind of weird. They don't move the best anymore because he's very stocky, and it leaves room, or it doesn't leave any room to actually get that double jointed elbows like really work in there, and it just kind of goes like that, which is basically the range that a single joint elbow can get. So that really sucks. The look overall, the yellow is really, really bright. It's a little too bright, but I don't mind it. I'm okay with it. And the blue, I think, is fine. I like the blue. We still have more scuffed painting on there, which looks really bad. And overall, the more I'm going on with this figure, the less satisfied I'm getting, because it just kind of looks like crap in some areas. And they didn't give us any accessories, so there's nothing to cheer me up when talking about this. The shoulder pads do move, which is nice. You can get those arms up to 90. I might as well go into the articulation segment because the aesthetic of the figure is not the best. I think I only like it just because I like the striped suit, and it just looks nice. But as a figure, they failed on having it look like as good as they could make it. So going on to the articulation, you have the head sculpt there, which looks this far up and that far down. You have a little bit of tilt there, and with the other head you have a little more. So yeah, this head sculpt is fine, just no painted lips, which sucks. Of course, you have the swivel all the way around. It is on the disc hinge there. And then you have the arm moving all the way around. You can get these shoulder pads to move up. They do peg out. So if you wanted to replace those with some others, you could, I guess. But yeah, so they do move up to 90. It just takes a little bit and maybe a little more. There we go, something like that. So yeah, it's not horrible, it's just a little difficult sometimes. Then of course you have the bicep swivel. You got some pretty good butterfly joints there, which go back and forward pretty great. Like that's nice. I did do a posing video on this guy, if you wanted to check that out on my YouTube shorts. But yeah, so I think that is nice to see. The butterfly joints do work really well. They are just a little stiff, but you can definitely make them work. So especially for poses like this, for those like huge open slashing poses where he's looking up and everything, has that one arm or one leg like that's sick. So you can get this guy in some pretty good poses, I will say. It's just some things they could have delivered better on to make this Wolverine like really good, and in some areas you can kind of tell they didn't really try or didn't care as much, which sucks because I really love Wolverine and I think that they could have done really good with this. But anyway, moving on to the elbows, like I told you before, basically a single joint of range because the way the elbows are made, it's pretty weird. Although you do have two pinned joints which are visible. You have the regular Hasbro hinge there, which is back. You can move it all around, I believe. Yeah, no, you can't take the claws out. You cannot. So that sucks because we don't have any alternate hands, which really sucks. And it's like, now he's just permanently like this. And it sucks. It's really weird. It just limits so much that I can do with this figure. You have ab crunch, which gets pretty deep, which is great. Back is pretty nice. You got the standard waist twist. That X-Men belt is beautiful. I love that. I don't know why it's not showing up as good. Like, it's actually really nice. Like, I really like the gold paint. It's much more vibrant in person, and that red shines through pretty nice. But yeah, I guess you can more see it there. So you get the double jointed knees, which work pretty nicely. You also get that thigh cut there. And then you have boot swivel, which I wasn't expecting on this figure, but I do enjoy. You have the ankle that moves this far down, and you have it moving this high up, which is pretty good. And then of course you have the ankle pivot, ankle rocker, whatever you want to call it. And the legs, let's see, they kick up this far forward, which is freaking great. And then back a little bit, it's kind of kicking out to the side, but you can get him in some pretty good walking poses. Then for splits, it's a little limited. Do I expect him doing the deepest crunches? You can kind of get him into those anyway, but it's just full splits here is weird. You can't really do that much, but it's not horrible. There is ways to get around it, which I'm thankful for. So the articulation is decent and the aesthetic is mid. That combination leaves kind of a stale taste in my mouth that I'll get more onto when speaking about the final thoughts on this figure. But for now, let's measure him and compare him next to some others. So let's zoom out, show. He should be pretty short, as we all know. And he's right under the 6-inch mark, quite a bit under there. So not counting the ears, but his actual head. So that is pretty short. Let's stand him next to the Mafex number 185 Spider-Man. I gotta repaint this guy. Gotta fix up the blue, because gosh, this is chipping and it looks horrible. That's nice. I like that. Wolverine is short. I mean, yeah, he's supposed to be like 5'3", which I don't know. I love this. I definitely can see me posing this guy a lot with some of my other figures, but it is also just because it's Wolverine. So this can be with any Wolverine. Nothing too exclusive about this guy. I know he's supposed to be a classic look with just some heat claws, but still there's something that they could have brought to the table that I feel is missing with this specific version of Wolverine. But compared to Spider-Man, he looks pretty good. Let's get some others. Since he is really short, I decided to put him next to a DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys Batman. This is the BVS version, and oh my goodness, he is like, you could use this guy as Robin. If like, that's how short he is compared to him, which I find really funny. And last but not least, here he stands next to the Marvel Legends Stan Lee. So what are my final thoughts on this guy? It's pretty mid. This figure isn't... I gotta change this angle. I wouldn't say this is the worst Wolverine. Like, is it? Nah, probably not. But it's definitely nowhere near the best. It's just not enough. It feels like there's not enough to complete this figure. If there was more given, I think it definitely could have benefited, and it actually would have been a pretty decent figure. It's really just the accessories that let it down, and the fact that the paint isn't all that amazing either. It's just, we've seen it before. And since we've seen it before, you kind of have to add new stuff to make it so that people would really want this. And it's like, if you don't have a Wolverine in your collection, is this a good one? I would try and find any other one, because the X-Men 97 one has a regular Logan expression and an actual masked head with like proper paint, proper blues and everything like that, regular claws and retracted claws, hands, and it just overall works better than this. This just seems like something they needed to get out, didn't want to add that much effort into, but it's Wolverine, and they have the body to use it and all the sculpt and everything already. So it feels dated, it does feel weird. You have all the pins and everything visible, so I'm gonna give this guy a 5 out of 10. I am disappointed with this thing, because it seems like such a lazy release. But honestly, that is going to be it. It's not all bad. This figure definitely is still fun, and I do pick it up from time to time despite it being pretty disappointing. But that's going to be my final thoughts on this guy. So if you've enjoyed the video and you've enjoyed the review, please give this video a like, and if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I post more videos like this. Don't forget, spread love, unity, and be greater together. Bye.